Hello. So it's another post bag. So that means it's another buy cheap video. Well, I don't really know what this is. Says RC quadcopter fits. Well, it can only be one thing. LiPo batteries, because that is the only thing that I bought in the last time. That it's for RC quadcopters, and yes, these are batteries. I think this nice fit. At the first look, well, they have like a thermo shrink on it. These are 800 milliamps LiPo battery, 3.7 LiPo batteries, and I got 5 of them, and of course I got a charger. Now I think this goes for, this is described as the SEMA compatible batteries. This is a charger. I don't think I'm gonna use that. Oh, because I don't have a quadcopter, I bought this for building myself DIY flashlights, and these are for powering the flashlight. But independently of that, these are normally sold in a pack, and I found it cheaper to buy it that way. Now, these are fairly big batteries. I know, in my experience with other batteries, I don't think this will go into a SEMA. Probably into a bigger SEMA, but into a normal SEMA, I don't know. Now, in millimeters, this is like 24 millimeters, 25 millimeters by 58.5, 59 millimeters, and by 7.2, 7.1. Now I don't really know, because I don't have a I don't own a quadcopter. I don't know if this can go inside of a SEMA or not. Now, another thing that I'm very curious of, if they have protection inside, because I think in the description says that these batteries are protected. Anyway, let's see how this battery came from factory. Okay. Oh, this is 3.8. This is an adapter. It goes into the charger, and on the other side goes in the battery. Wow. .89. This is 3.8, and this was like 3.82, I think. Nah. well, they have the same charge, and I don't know, it gives me the impression that this one is kind of bent. Okay. Okay, so in this moment I'm putting the battery to charge with my hobby dedicated charger. I don't trust that the one that came with the batteries. I mean, you can probably use that, and a lot of people do it, but I have this, and it's very trusty. Now this is 800 milliamps. Sorry. I doubt that it's really. I hope so. It's 800 milliamps, and it has all the characteristics to be 800 milliamps capacity, but I'm not so sure about, because it was a cheap battery to buy. So I'm gonna put it 0.6C. That will be 1C or less current of charge, and 1S. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a charge, and after that I'm gonna make a voltage drop test to see how much the 4.2 volts that this battery provides fully charged, how much that those 4.2 volts are dropping with 1 amp or 1.5 amps with a load. Okay, and it says 3.9 at 0.6 amps. Well, normally if this battery has overprotection, it should interrupt the charge before the charger, and I will know it has a overprotection charge. I'll probably hack into one and see for myself if it has or not, but for now, well, I'm gonna just leave it to charge and make some discharge test after that, and capacity test, of course. Okay, so after some while it charged like 320 milliamps. Well, it seems like more probably this is an 800 milliamps battery, and I'm going to give it a discharge right now and see how much it will discharge. At 1 amp, and let's see how fast it will discharge it. Now, according to this, it has a drop of volts of like 0.3 volts, which is not really bad, but it's not the best battery that you can have. Let's see. Yeah, well, at 1 amp you'll have like 3.9 or less. It will probably stay stable at 3.7 or a little more. How that matters? Well, it's about the wattage of the of that you can use. For example, if this battery at 1 amp or more holds the voltage to 4.1 or above, 4.2, 4.1 or 4.2, that means that goes multiplied by the current that the motor drawing, and those are more watts that go into your motor, more power. So if the voltage drops like this, well, the motor will suck less. Okay, so this is a surprise. This charge at 800 milliamps, so that's nice. Anyway, I don't think it has protection. I'm gonna open one further on, but until then I'm gonna charge this again. But anyway, 800 milliamps, that's nice. Okay, so I charged the battery again and it charged 850 milliamps, and to be honest, that is kind of a surprise for me because I didn't expect this to actually be 800 milliamps, and I'm surprised and happy about that. So that concludes my test. This battery, it has the capacity and it's pretty good at holding the voltage when discharged. Okay, so right now I'm on the web where I purchased this battery. The web, it's gearbest, and on the description says charging set, 5 pieces battery plus charger plus charging cables, 5 pieces 3.7 volts, 800 milliamps lipo battery, 4 XJD 509G, and Hawiki, I don't know, and all of these. I don't really know what kind of toys are these, or if they are quadcopters or anything else, but I think they are quadcopters. Now I paid $14 with 14 euros with 30 cents, and it was free shipping to Spain. Now it doesn't really says much about the battery, only that it's for this kind of toys. Can charge 5 battery at a time. Protection: the charging has the protection for overcharge. The charger has the protection for overcharge. I think that's it's the protection in the small gadget that comes with the batteries. And package contains 5 batteries, 3.7 volts, 800 milliamps, 1 USB cable, 1 charger, 5 connection charging cable, and capacity 800 milliamps, which is nice because, well, being sincere, I didn't think it would be 500 milliamps or 800 milliamps, but it is, and 150 I think I charged it. And the battery size, which is in centimeters, and I kind of like measured it before. Now discharge rate is 25C. General information: battery charger. Package weight 157 grams. Dimension of the package, I think it's the envelope that came with. Package what contains, I mean all of this. Anyway, going back to the discharge rate. Now this battery actually can go up to 25C. That means it has 800 milliamps multiplied by 25. I don't know how many amps will be like 10 amps, let's say. But it will have like a voltage drop, and the watts that you can actually squeeze off the battery are less. You cannot just multiply 800 by 25 and you will get that. No, well, 800 I just seen because I put it on my discharger, and at 4.2 volts, if I put it load of 1 amp, which is not the case in a quadcopter, because the quadcopter it will probably suck like 4 or 5 amps if you put 1 amp for on one motor. And with 1 amp it had a drop of 0.3 volts, that means 3.8 volts with the full charge battery, and probably will have a more bigger drop when the battery is discharged. I didn't take a look before of that. And amps multiplied by the volts that are actually giving that amps, it will give you the watts. That's the power of the motors that can lift your quadcopter. Anyway, I need this for something else, and I'm pretty pleased with what I got. So, doesn't really say nowhere if the battery itself has a protection here in on the connection wires. So I think I need to open one up and see that for myself. Normally this quadcopter battery, these small quadcopter batteries have a protection circuit board, but I don't know if that is good or bad for a quadcopter. I think it's bad because, well, if the battery if the quadcopter is in the air and the protection just cuts the current because the battery is under volts, well, your quadcopter will fall out of the sky like a stone in a lake or in some place that you cannot give it back. And it's preferable, well, killing a battery that's a €3 battery and saving killing the battery by over discharging it or puffing it up. It's preferable that before losing the quadcopter. Anyway, I'm gonna take a look and open this battery and see, just cut it here and see how these wires are connected to the actual battery, if they are connected straight at the battery or they have like some kind of protection between the quadcopter and the battery itself. Okay, let's see if this battery have protection inside. Now it has like a thermo shrink on top, and after that fiberglass tape and some paper, and behind that I'm sure they are the soldering points. So I'm just going to cut these, that way I'm not in a way that preferably not damage the battery. And so it has protection. This here is a protection circuit for overcharge and undercharge. In theory it should be for overcharge and undercharge, but because I don't know how well it works, because it didn't really work when I charge it with my my charger, and it shouldn't be work. But Okay, this is a plus. For me, this is a plus. For a quadcopter, I don't know, because this battery, if you buy 5 of them, they are like $3 each. But and a quadcopter is like, I don't know, $60 or more. And well, if I had a quadcopter, I'm not going to use this with a quadcopter, but if I had a quadcopter, I surely sacrifice a battery, puffing out battery, before losing the quadcopter at 20 feet, at 20 or 40 feet in the air. Anyway, for me this is nice because the use I'm going to give it to this battery, well, that protection will help me a lot. So thanks for watching. Bye.